Okay, doing it by twos again. I have a journal for you. This one goes back another day. It's from 6/11, and it's the first one of that day, and I need to make the text bigger. Whoops, and I just made it smaller. Okay. And it looks like a lot of fun. I'll be giving you any number of links in the transcript. I've got them written up here. All right. Boy, have I ever had a challenging day. It wasn't at all in the things which happened in it. It was pretty empty that way. It was in how I felt, in the energy I was in or experiencing. It was as if I was nervous or had too much tension or energy or something. I felt quite uncomfortable all day, and yet now it has released. Now I feel good even. Okay, so I'll step out. The day before was 6/10, and since I wrote this, I've seen 2 or 3 others describing their energy on this day, and for all of them it was really intense. For the Ascension Pioneers lady, she used it to just really get into cleaning, and she was just supercharged and so on. So people used it differently, but the energy of the 10th Sunday was apparently quite a day. Now, go figure, huh? It will be nice once we can see and consciously participate in these things as they're going on and understand them better. Being in 3D here is more or less blind to so very much. The visible light spectrum is but the smallest slice, and that's of the frequencies that we can measure, that we know about, that our instruments can identify. Who knows what else is there waiting to be found? A lot, no doubt. So, I'm taking it that something was going on during the day and throughout, since I woke up that way, and it didn't end until, well, it didn't end. I even went to bed that way. Now, this something has either completed or released, since I'm now back much more to what I'm used to as the condition of the body. I don't feel anything at all negative around this, whatever it was, nor do I or did I feel any sort of presence or beings involved. It's not a solar wind, for that is actually calmed down to a much milder flow. The astrology has been interesting, but I'm not aware of anything very big centering on this day that just passed, June 10th. Come summer solstice, we can expect to be sensing some things. The days before and after also carry an astrological punch. I don't remember what exactly, but I'll link you to this month's astrology report if you're curious. So much for what mind can make of this. We just don't have all the keys, all the pieces to put things like this together. Just yet. Well, we do, just on other levels. And we will if we're willing to cooperate, to go along with the flow. I see us sensitizing to many more frequencies and things that we're just not used to sensing yet. Like many of us, I've got my foot on the sensing accelerator. I'm open and ready to morph. Bring it on. I'm not in too much of a hurry, though. Why not? That would be providing resistance to my now, which is just fine. I am merely in tune with what my now is providing, the way I see it, and that's change at a very fast pace. A lot of us have been pulled up and out of the doldrums or out of inattention to our inner being by this acceleration of change that seems to just keep coming. It's amazing. It's time for more and more dropping of all limits, all ideas around what we think reality is or what it ought to be. Let's all be open to surprise, okay? That's another kind of openness or emptiness that I find life seems to appreciate. It's also another way of dropping resistance to life. Believe it or not, and look around you today to confirm, most of us go through our days in all-out resistance to what our now brings. Whatever it is, for some reason or another, it's just not good enough. It's not what we want. We persist in seeing how it could have been better if it was a wee bit different in this way or that way or whatever. Nothing is ever good enough, huh? We have a societal disease of being displeased with our now. Look around you. Who is satisfied with what is, with life as it is? Can you even find one being, one person, who is happy with life? If you can, my bet is that it will be your dog and not another human at all. I often think that's why dogs are here with us, to show us what a satisfied life looks like. Whatever we dish out, they take it and wag their tail, always trying to please. They seem to want to bring us into their own brand of happiness. I tell you what, if it was in their power to do it, they would definitely make us happy. We make much better playmates that way. From the dogs, we can learn appreciation for every now and the joy of always being not just good enough, but positively wonderful in their eyes. Those are two precious things that most of mankind have not yet mastered. So the dogs remain our faithful friends. Dogs can be patient too. And from the cats, we see what true independence is like. They won't be coaxed or forced into behaving in any way they don't choose for themselves. Cats are self-content, aren't they? They seem happy enough, and their pleasures are simple and sweet, unless you're a bug or a small rodent or the like. Everything everywhere is communing with us all the time. But do we see? Mostly not. Well, why not? Because we don't expect it, and we go by our old, outdated expectations of what life is and can be. We don't see because we're too full of old ideas and knowledge that just gets in the way. We're too full of thinking that we know. Do we know that all life is sentient? How would we change if we knew just this one thing? It's been proven down to the level of the plant and the cell, and this decades ago by Cleve Baxter for one. Primary perception, I think he calls it. I'll give you a link if I can find a good one. Oh, and Mellon Thomas, when he was in the light, was told about Cleve Baxter, and that later he will be looked on as practically a saint for what he's discovered. He's the one behind The Secret Life of Plants, showing that plants are conscious. Everything is conscious. Yes, everything. And that means even the table and the chair you sit on. Shove those old ideas out of the way. Better yet, drop down into heart for this and just be open for a change. Be open to change. You know what they say. The definition of insanity is doing things the same way and expecting change. Well, let's change. I'll recommend a light inquiry into quantum physics to inspire your change. Science is a behemoth in its accepted ways and ideas, yet quantum physics brought that to a halt for many. Change is now the order of the day, at least in that field. Then, too, there's the electric universe and what the Thunderbolts crew is doing. Thunderbolts of the gods to promote that. Talk about change, that is huge. And many in the scientific community are coming on board. It lifts my heart. Change is accelerating, right? Most of us can look around and see that without too much effort. Well, in the past 20 years was about as long as a scientific principle or idea would last without a major challenge. Get ready for that to get shorter and yet shorter still. If this change is at all real, its acceleration anyway, we must see it there, and we are. Yet those who trust still the major media to inform them won't be seeing this anytime soon. They do what they can to hide such things. Who knows why? It doesn't matter anyway. They too are on their way out. Too many of us are on to them, to their dishonesty and intrigue. All it takes is to follow the money trail and discover who owns them behind the scenes to see where they're coming from, so to speak. It's not rocket science. Still, I recommend we spend less and less time and interest on such things. We've got to get into the nitty-gritty of the behind-the-scenes chicanery and dirty dealing in order to first prove it to ourselves. None of this is something anyone wants to believe, and we've got to be convinced. So if you're still in that stage, then keep on and hang in. Don't let up until you truly know what the score is, or at least that the whole game is always rigged. Once we get to that point, though, and with pretty much everything, I say it's time to take some major steps back. As in completely withdraw. Remove your energy from the whole scene. Don't participate. Don't play their games. Don't be lured in. Above all, educate yourself about advertising and what a truly deeply dirty game that whole industry has become. Prepare to be sickened if you haven't yet seen into it. If you don't know about the omnipresent subliminals, then you don't yet know enough. Keep checking. As we learn these things, it's only natural to pull away from them, to withdraw. I wouldn't look at a magazine if you paid me. I won't subject my mind to the airbrushed deceit and filth that's on every page. No, thanks. Same with television and radio. I won't be forced to endure commercials anymore. They are not innocent. No, sir. They're pure manipulation of the basest kind. Once we know this, then the choice is squarely ours. If we continue to subject ourselves to what they're dishing out, then we've made our choice. No grumbling allowed. Adults make choices and accept consequences. They don't gripe about things no one forced them to do. That's plain silly and immature. I'll step out here. Back when I was still watching television, we got this thing. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was an option on the satellite TV or cable or whatever kind you have, where you could get a box and pay a small extra fee. and you could start and stop live TV. And you could set it to record things at whatever time you wanted. And even if it was on now, I'd let it record and then watch it later, simply to be able to fast forward over the commercials. So that's a transitional way to take charge of your consciousness and your viewing. You may have others in the family that just aren't ready to give up the TV, and you're not in charge, of everybody else. So just a thought. A lot of our immaturity isn't really that so much as it is just the consequences of being asleep, of sleeping along with the crowd. As we're waking up now, we begin to see this in others, how their behavior is often quite immature, as ours was. Well, let's cut them lots of slack, friends, and remember just how short a time ago that was us. One of my favorite things about awakening is this new, really deep sense of respect I now have for everyone and everything. It's really love. I gotta quit. I step out and then I find it in the next line. Whatever. Yeah, I guess it's really love, but it comes out as respect. I respect and honor the choices people make, along with their ability to take whatever consequences they bring. Hey, when we're all divine, there's simply nothing we can't do or we can't handle, my friends. So we have no need to try to push people around or forcefully inform them about this or that. Yes, we even respect their desire to remain ignorant if that's what they choose. Why not? Here's my favorite thing lately. I pick out those things I really want to see in others and then go within to make them so in myself. I do what I can to become what it is I want to see. If I want more than anything else to see real and deep respect in our handling of one another, then that's what I find within. Me to me, respect. I nurture that within. This is one thing we're totally empowered to do, to be the change we want to see. And it's even fun, seriously. It gives us a good focus for our extra energy instead of picking an argument with our mate or coworker by telling them what to do. That never works out well anyway. We don't really want to do that. We just don't know what else is better to do. Well, now we do. As soon as we see something in someone else that we'd like to change, really like to change, we proceed full speed ahead to change it within the self, not in them. They are their business, not our own, which is and remains only us. Now, tell me truly, wouldn't you like simply everyone to get the message that they and only they are their business? Wouldn't it make the world a hugely better place in which to live? You know it would. Well then, be it. My God, we really can make so much change. No one ever told us growing up, though, that the only way to make change is to internally change. So we didn't know. Well, that's okay. With as many of us awakening every day as there are, it won't be long now, and that 100th monkey effect thing will kick off really big in so many things. As we learn it within, whatever it is, it will translate to the without. This is yet another way we're learning about our overall oneness, how we're all linked up inside, entangled, if you will. Separation is a lie or a joke, I'm not sure which, but whatever it isn't true. Our atoms are all entangled, for one thing. Did you know about that? Quantum physics again. An idea I like to ponder is how light is actually information. This one would have been harder to come to intuitively, but thanks to fiber optics, everyone can easily know. Light is information. Light is encoded with stuff. Now, makes you wonder what's coming in on the sun's rays, doesn't it? It does me. Or the cosmic rays, the gamma rays, all those various rays we can't even see. They're still light energy, just not in the visible range. Who knows, maybe thought is even light too. Wouldn't surprise me. So light informs us. We are in form, in a body, and light informs us. I'm telling you, there's lots of room for some really deep pondering here. Life is so thoroughly amazing. I've never enjoyed it more since moving towards being empty. The more I empty out my old ideas and beliefs, even thoughts, the more I'm just amazed at what I find. Life is constantly bringing simply wonderful things to our attention. But our attention is usually occupied with a previous engagement. We're engaged with things all the time. That's the way of the mind. Well, mind can reform and renew along different lines if we so choose. I see no other way to be able to pay attention to life, to our now, than emptying the mind out quite a bit or stepping out of it. My joy is to discover that it will function just fine without my attention on it or with it all the time. Thus, I can drop down into heart and have mind still do its job and be fine. It's not that I'm not thinking. Most of the time, I'm just not focused there, yet the thought goes on. Does that sound strange? Maybe it's because you thought you had to be with the mind all the time. I expect you've moved beyond the point where you were so identified with either body or mind that you thought you were that. If I'm right, what I'm discovering is that just like the body can see that the blood flows, the heart beats, and so on, the mind can likewise handle itself. Our biology is like a Ferrari that we've been driving around as if it was an old VW Bug. We're not making a tenth of the demands on it, not expecting it to be able to perform Ferrari style. Well, that's how we were programmed to believe and act. So let's challenge every bit of that. I don't take one single fact in a textbook or my mind to be right anymore. No, not one. My trust is all used up, all gone in such things. By my reverence and respect for this body and mind, those are really growing, but not by. Ever since discovering that the mind doesn't require supervision, I've learned a whole new layer of freedom, what that can mean. I can go off to my galactic playground to explore and simply trust mind to bring me back if there's a real need. Other than that, I can leave mind to its own business and go out and play. And I can guarantee that I know practically nothing of what our bodies and minds can deliver. While the bulk of our DNA was disconnected and in disarray, so many of our innate abilities went to sleep. Now, that's a theory that I'm, sort of accepting. I'm alert to them waking up now along with us. Of the possible 62 DNA codons, we've had only 20 active, and I'm quite sure that's changing as we speak, both in us and the new children being born. Let's be limitlessly open, my friends. Let's open all the windows and use the screen doors so that every fresh breeze will be enjoyed. Let's let nature both entertain and teach us. It's on us to learn to communicate with her. She communicates quite well on her own and with her own. Now, we've excluded ourselves for quite a while. Our only interest in her creatures was to bend them to our will, not to discover or uncover what their will was. Well, no more. Let's let that respect that comes from a heart of love expand out to include every being, not just the human ones, but every element of nature as well. I don't mean we need to die for them or go to war over things. That's not what I'm saying, though mind will be tempted into that interpretation. No, I'm just saying let's begin to communicate with every aspect and element of nature and know, simply know, that they are sentient too. The biggest thing we can work to change is our vision of things, how we look at them. Look at your expectations and beliefs about everything and question every one. Things are not what we were taught they were. Now, let's let the things themselves tell us the truth. Let's learn their language for a change. We can do this. Everyone speaks the language of heart. And that's all I wrote. I'm talking even the stones, okay? Even, and this is why it's good to walk in bare feet on the ground sometimes. The earth appreciates every step. We can walk with reverence. And the grass and the stones don't mind being walked upon. There's a beauty of an exchange that can go on 24/7 with every step we take. It can be a conscious step. What's his name? Thich Van Han. Oh, I forget his name. I think he's Tibetan, a monk. And he speaks, he does a walking meditation. All of our life can be a true, not just a meditation, it can be a communion with all the rest of life. And it's a great self-discovery because we are that. We are one. Good day.